Welcome to the Game Professors podcast, where the students have taken over and we profess our love and hate for all things video games. Hero and Plague joining you today, and we're going to get into the lecture lowdown, where we give you a breakdown of what's happening in this podcast with a few announcements, and we may get into some Thanksgiving tomfoolery. So, for this episode, we've got some Battlefield 6 sales numbers, the Roblox CEO eating his own foot, Nvidia and Intel partnership announcement, and the memory pricing apocalypse. So, before we get into the announcements, considering Thanksgiving is literally tomorrow as of this recording, Haru, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Oh, man. It really depends on how you define favorite. Because for me, it could be two different things. Number one, it could be the thing that I like the most or the thing that I eat the most of. And those two things are yams or pumpkin pie.
I mean, yeah. I mean, both are good.
Yeah. But yams, I can't eat that much of. I love the flavor, but it's way too sweet to be able to eat
hold on.
a ton of it.
How are you preparing these yams? Because there are definitely different yam Thanksgiving dishes.
That's true. Like the candied yams. I don't know what the hell they're called.
So essentially like sweet potatoes, where it's like that real vanilla, mapley, sugary.
With a layer of marshmallow on the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Like, I can't eat a ton of that because it's so sweet. Pumpkin pie, on the other hand, I can eat 3 pies by myself.
I mean, yeah, pumpkin pie is good. It's not my favorite thing. I'm not a big fan of the mush texture, but it does have a really good flavor. And if someone offers me a slice of pumpkin pie, I'm eating a slice of pumpkin pie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the question becomes then, if I have one of each in my hand, and one of them is going in the garbage, and the other one you get to eat, which one are you picking?
Pumpkin pie.
I mean, fair.
So can't throw away good pie, man.
You're not wrong. So for me, replace the pumpkin pie with pecan pie. Oh okay, God, fair. It's so rich and grotesque for your body in terms of what nutrients, and basically it's so bad for you. I just assume it extracts nutrients from your body, but it is so good. That being said, my dad has always made the sweet potatoes, the candied yams. And if it's specifically his version of the dish, I think partly because I enjoy it, partly just nostalgia for tradition, I would probably pick his. But if it's anyone else's, I'm picking the pecan pie.
Fair.
All right, now, what's the dish you hate?
Oh, God. I mean, turkey, right? If there's turkey there, I'm not touching it.
I mean, but like you hate turkey, because to me, like, turkey's like subpar chicken, and so for me it like falls into like the fine category. It's fine. Like, it's basically just there to be a protein. I'm not actively disliking it.
Yeah, but like I like ham, right?
Sure.
So most of my Thanksgiving dinners tend to have but they tend to have ham, turkey, green bean casserole, some biscuits, the candied yams, and pies, right? That's kind of the extent of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I just feel like there's so many other things. Like, I hate the cranberry sauce.
Okay, fair.
I'm just not a cranberry fan. Too bitter. Like, I actively dislike whatever goes on, it ruins it. That's just me personally, though. I'm also not like a corn casserole type of person either. Like, I
don't think I've ever had that.
I mean, dude, or like the green bean casserole, which I know a lot of people like. It's not my thing. I like green beans, but just the whole thing is not my thing.
I do actually like green bean casserole, especially as I've gotten older. I've started enjoying it more than I did when I was younger.
It's fair. I can do the green beans. The whole casserole thing is just like, it's too much. But again, I would choose that over cranberry. Cranberry is absolutely the thing I don't like whatsoever. But
That's fair.
that being said, I think there are quite a few good dishes in Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll discuss more next year. But if anyone else has a differing opinion or disagrees with us, let us know in the comments on the various platforms we're on, or send us some feedback at our email. And if there's anything we didn't mention that you do love, feel free to comment about that as well. Mm-hmm. Anyways, let's get into the actual content of this course. We're going to start with PUBG Studios Krafton officially announcing PUBG Black Budget. It is a brand new first-person extraction shooter, which is launching in closed alpha on Steam in December. It's going to be from December 12th to 14th, and then the 19th to the 21st. You can request access through Steam right now, and there's going to be supposedly no NDA, so you can stream it without any sort of restrictions. It's going to be the thing that we've seen with basically a lot of extraction shooters, where it's the PvPvE, and apparently some sort of like time loop island kind of mechanic type of thing. I don't know if it's just the map based or if there's going to be a mechanic for gameplay stuff, but we'll find out here in basically 2.5 weeks.
Honestly, that one's really interesting. I know we talked about Krafton last week in particular, especially with their AI first approach.
Yep.
And I like the concept of the time looped isle, because it kind of gives you a little bit of lore behind why everything keeps resetting.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of one of those things that in the other extraction shooters we just kind of ignore, like Tarkov. No one's like, who just decided to leave a LEDX here, you know?
Well, I always appreciate when, even in multiplayer, if there's an effort to make something part of the story.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I'm not a fan of their AI first mentality, but I'll probably give it a try. I usually don't last too long in most extraction shooters. I think Arc Raiders is probably the one I've lasted the longest in.
Yeah. I mean, there's also plenty of people to play with. I assume you're not necessarily done with Arc Raiders. We might do another few runs here or there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, also, we don't know who's going to get access, if everyone who's requested it will get access, or if they're only going to pick a select few. But, I mean, if I get in it and it's free, it'll be real easy kind of going, yeah, this is exciting, or cool, this is all I need to play. But we'll find out shortly.
Oh yeah, and I mean when you get into it, I'll probably get into it too. I know that you can currently request access through Steam, but when the alpha's running, you can also just watch some people on Twitch, and you're just guaranteed to get a drop. So it's kind of one of those things that's kind of weird.
Well, you know, really how do you get people to watch your stuff off of free things?
Yeah, that's fair.
And here's the thing: if it's terrible, those numbers will be good day one, and then they won't be back day two. So it's got to at least be somewhat entertaining to keep the audience, even if you're getting free stuff. But again, 2.5 weeks. We'll see how that plays out. I also am concerned in general about all the extraction shooters we are seeing. I don't know how long the good times will last, if that becomes the new thing like BRs kind of had been, as those are already played out. I mean, we talked about the Battlefield 6 one, which we have some sale numbers we'll get into, and it's fine. You know, it's fine. It's a BR. You know, every now and then I'll go into it, but it's not the same attraction that they used to be. And so I worry about extraction shooters potentially hitting that limit eventually too.
Oh yeah. Like, man, Fortnite became big, PUBG became big, and then everybody and their friggin' brother was like, we need to make a battle royale.
Yep.
And we're just like, you really don't, though.
And I feel like we almost have that with Tarkov being the PUBG of extraction shooters. Obviously, way more realistic. I'm not comparing the games themselves, but just because of influence and popularity. And then you've got Arc Raiders, which is essentially the Fortnite levels type of stuff for the extraction shooter genre. So, I mean, are we already there with like super serial initial entry that's popular and more user friendly kind of first time extraction shooter that attracts everyone? And then from here, it'll just be everyone copying it.
Yeah.
But only way to know is to play it. We can talk about it all we want, but 2.5 weeks, and I'm sure we'll talk about it here at that point. Anyways, we mentioned Battlefield 6. There are some sales records, which is, I think some of these are quite interesting. Battlefield 6 is officially the best-selling game of the entire 2025 year, and that's as of like November 19th, so we haven't even hit the end of the year. So I would say that they're probably making that claim knowing that nothing can catch them and seeing how Call of Duty Black Ops sales went. So
yeah.
Yeah, I just find that super interesting. I mean, and it's kind of quite a feat because yeah, it's a multiplayer game, but there have been some very good games this year, so for it to kind of hit that slot, I feel like is... I hope this shows to developers that if you make a game that your core audience enjoys, it'll naturally bring in other people to buy it, so you don't have to chase the it thing. If you have a popular game, make your popular game. I'm not saying you can't iterate on it or anything, but don't make a 2042. Make a Battlefield 6.
Now, okay, give me like the fastest rundown of your life on why 2042 is bad.
So 2042 chased the popular thing. So 2042's out in 2021. Battlefield V/5, which was the World War II shooter after Battlefield 1, which was like the World War I shooter. Battlefield V came out, was broken to hell, and you're doing World War II after doing World War I, so the sales were way down for Battlefield V. And so I think they panicked, and they built 2042 as a hero shooter version of Battlefield, which you're already starting off on the wrong foot.
Yep.
And then it also came out super broken. So between it being more of a hero shooter, it was very arcadey too. Between it being a hero shooter, very arcadey, and super broken, it's just the game that nobody wanted, but it's what we got.
Okay, so it is the same exact problem that Monster Hunter Wilds has, where they made the like Monster Hunter has always been a difficult game, right? It's been realistic combat with very weighty moves, animation locking, and stuff like that. In Wilds, they just did away with most of that animation locking, and it really removes the weighty feel. And I really feel like a large part of the reason that they did this was, oh God, what is that stupid game called? Dawn something or other.
What type of game was it?
It was basically a Monster Hunter clone.
I mean, fair. I'm sure. Hey, if you know what that game is and we don't remember it, put it in the comments.
Yeah, for real though.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So seemingly they're copying another popular title, or trying to make sure they stay relevant by copying other things that are popular.
Yes.
Which I think is a recipe for disaster when you have a game that is already popular and people come back because you do something that nobody else does well. If you look at the Battlefield series, up through Battlefield 1, the thing that Battlefield always did well was the big 64-player warfare with vehicles. Like, it always did that well. There were other games that did something similar, but it was always the game that you could count on doing it well, and everybody else picked it up, so it was always healthy. And I know, like, their sales flagged because they started getting repetitive on the genre and then releasing broken games. And then obviously we talked about 2042 doing something different. The sales didn't flag because people were tired of Battlefield. The sales flagged because you didn't give them a Battlefield game and you kept releasing broken games.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a release of what you do and make sure it's done well. If you want to do a few tiny new things, like, you don't have to do a lot. One of the new things they put in Battlefield 6 was just the ability to drag a teammate while you're reviving them. It's something super tiny and on paper sounds like it's not a big thing. But let me tell you, going from the beta for Battlefield 6 back to 2042, waiting for the release, and not having that, honestly, it was the biggest thing that I missed. And it was just something small. You don't have to make big sweeping changes. Make small ones, but make sure what you do, you continue to do it well.
Yep.
So, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but I feel like it's always also telling for Monster Hunter that I found the game kind of easy.
Yeah, as a first time player.
Yeah.
Like, and granted, to be fair, you are also playing one of the ranged weapons, which are arguably the strongest weapons in the game.
You're not wrong. But also, I didn't play with anybody initially.
Yeah.
I was playing by myself. And I feel like it's telling that, yes, I was using a what, would be called a meta weapon, right? I never hit any roadblocks ever. I never really, other than weird UI stuff, trying to figure out where it was located. In terms of difficulty, I never faced any roadblocks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, unfortunately, I think they were trying to make the game more available to more casual players.
Sure.
But, like, I never viewed the game as hard in the first place. Like, even in the first generation that I got into, which was Gen 3, like, I didn't have any issues. Gen 4, never had any issues. Gen 5, which was what World was, never had any issues. And, like, Monster Hunter World was their highest selling version at the time, right? So how do you go from that to what you did in Wilds and it be that bad?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know how. I feel like, see, here's the thing. You want to bring in new players? That's fine. You have kind of a campaign. I know there's a story to it, but really it's go here, hunt this. And you can make that so that there is a ramp up, though, right? So to make sure you are catering to new players and give them something to do, you could make a third of that or half of that exactly the difficulty that it is currently, but then have it ramp up towards the end and make sure your end game is something more difficult that you need to be a practiced player, is what I'm going to describe it as, to be able to succeed.
Yeah.
And because it's not like there aren't an entire genre that's stemming from a single game that isn't known for difficulty. And obviously that thing is, popular.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It saddens me, honestly, to see what has been done to Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Well,
and I know I'm not the only one too, and that's the really sad part.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunately where it is now. Hopefully, it doesn't look like they're necessarily going to revamp this one, so hopefully the next one is better for you.
Hopefully.
Well, that being said, that wasn't the only thing that Battlefield did. It is also the highest dollar sales for physical and digital full copies of the game in the US for a single month in 3 years. So, for any game in the last 3 years, Battlefield in its, I would say, first 30 days is essentially what's happening, has sold the most of any title since October 2022.
That's wild.
Yep. And if anyone's wondering, it's Modern Warfare 2 in 2022 was the game that sold more than Battlefield 6. Ever since then, apparently Battlefield is the highest selling game for a month. Which, again, is wild, but it goes to what we say. Make a game that your players want, do the thing you do well, you'll sell a lot of copies. So it's also the highest selling Battlefield game in franchise history as well, by the way. So that's kind of crazy. Well, hopefully it stays on that trajectory and EA doesn't let it go to its head, because I'm very confident that EA is an appropriate publisher that cares about its gamers and will never do anything to jeopardize the health of its games for money.
Definitely.
Alrighty. I think that's enough for lecture lowdown, so why don't we move into civics and sociology? All right, civics and sociology, everybody circle up. Let's take a look at some of the aspects of people in the gaming community and maybe some of those institutions as well. The first we got to, as I mentioned earlier, is the Roblox CEO eating his own foot as he labels child predators, quote, an opportunity, end quote. How do you feel about that, Haru?
That's a choice. That is a choice of all time. Yep.
It is a choice of all time. So, to give you a little bit of background, during a November 2025 interview on the New York Times Hard Fork podcast, so this isn't a podcast run by two dudes who just like to talk. It is a big name publishing podcast. The CEO, David Baszucki, if that's how you pronounce his name, but ultimately, from what he says here, I don't really care, made controversial statements characterizing the platform's child predator problem as an opportunity, in air quotes, rather than solely a problem. The comments sparked immediate backlash from critics and parents and other media outlets for obvious reasons, as the platform has over 150 million daily active users, and if your opportunity is child predators, I'm very concerned. Now, you would ask yourself, okay, what's the context of this, right? Like, is he saying it as an opportunity to do better, right? Because, like, yeah, if there's child predators on your platform, I would say there definitely is an opportunity for you to do better. Is that what you would assume, Arrow?
I would hope.
You would hope. We'd all be wrong.
Given past knowledge, I would not hold a lot of hope.
Nope. You should not hold that hope. Because when he was directly asked by the host of that podcast, Casey Newton, about the, quote, the problem of predators on Roblox, end quote, the CEO responded with, and I quote, "We think of it not necessarily just as a problem, but as an opportunity as well. How do we allow young people to build, communicate, and hang out together? How do we build the future of communication at the same time?" End quote. But just hold on. Let me give that to you one more time in case you think you heard it wrong. We think of it not necessarily just as a problem, but an opportunity as well. How do we allow young people to build, communicate, and hang out together? How do we build the future of communication at the same time when referring to child predators?
Oh, man. Look, the answer to those two questions is naturally. You let the future of communication build itself naturally.
Yep.
You don't try and influence it like this. And this is
even
the
if you
problem
try
with
to
all these
influence
platforms.
The answer is to influence it amongst their peers.
True. But like, this is the problem with these platforms too, right? Like, it's similar to like Meta as an example. And even what was it called? Second Life? Like a similar type of problem where they live in their tiny little bubble and they think that's all that exists in the world.
Yep.
And if it's not all that exists in the world, that's how they want it to be.
Dude, I want to know what numbers internally that they are estimating for child predators, because it has to be an insane amount for him to respond with being communication is the problem when asked about predators, because that has to be a lot of money they're making from predators for him to collate communication amongst young people and predators. I don't like.
Yep, I don't get it.
Oh man, I just, this blows my mind, dude. Like, he's being sued by multiple states. We've mentioned it in previous courses. He's being sued by multiple states. Oh man, dude, if I'm one of the lawyers, I'm just eating popcorn right now, taking screenshots. Like, if I'm one of the lawyers for the people suing Roblox, I'm having a great time.
So,
I mean, to me, this just looks like negligence.
Oh, 100%. Like,
Oh,
it's clear he just doesn't care about our kids, right? That's just the reality.
Yeah, and here's the thing. He doubles down on this too. Like he doesn't go, "Oh, okay, here's what I mean," and explain it. He doubles down on it. He he reframes it as the safety crisis as, quote, an incredible opportunity. So he's using it again to expand Roblox market share in the gaming industry.
Holy.
Dude, he suggests that the platform could innovate from moderation solutions and scale with its 150 million daily active users. I don't, does he, look, you know the old meme? I don't think you know what that word means, or you're using, like,
that word does not mean what you think it means.
Thank you. Yes. I feel like this is that. I feel like this is 100% that. I'm not sure if this CEO of potentially $1 billion company, I don't know how much Roblox is worth, understands what the word opportunity means. So
yeah, I mean, so like, I understand his thought process on why he views this as an opportunity. And it's a stupid thought process, and it's purely based off of greed, but his thought process on it, and I'm assuming and making, educated guesses here, but he thinks that if he can create some kind of innovative moderation solution that can work at the scale of 150 million daily active users, then he can sell it to other companies, right? That's his thought process on the opportunity based on context. He's stupid, plain and simple. Yeah. That is not what you should be talking about in this type of a situation. That's what you talk about in your earnings calls, right?
You're 100% right. I don't know if this man has a PR department
He's probably
for his company. I don't know if he has anyone that has any idea even what PR stands for.
Oh, man.
Or if he's talked to anybody about it before, or if going on this interview podcast, if anyone ever said, hey, this is 999.999% going to come up, here's how you should respond to it. Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't do any of that. Like, it gets credit to the New York Times, no matter what you think. The host of this podcast did not let up. So, to your point, if he's saying all this stuff in a boardroom, it's fine. I would argue that not necessarily an intelligent man, but let's say a wise man, if he was constantly being asked the same things, might change his tune and go with the flow and provide an answer that the interviewers and essentially by extension the public would want to hear, even if it's extremely vague, right? Like, if you were asked about the predator problem for a third time, you might go, hey, and this, I'm just coming off the top of my head now. You might go, you know what? We've seen the news. Obviously, there are some things making its way through the courts. We reject that notion, and we're doing a lot internally to combat any any nefarious things going on, and we don't release that publicly because we don't want our methods known. Right?
Sure.
It's a non-answer answer. And it satisfies the question, and it makes people feel good because it seems like you're doing something.
For sure.
Right? No. So the host asks him about the child predator problems, about children being exploited on the platform. And the CEO categorically rejected any sort of characterization about there being child predators, despite, obviously, the numerous lawsuits. And he claims, quote, Roblox is doing an incredible job at innovating, end quote. Without conceding or acknowledging anything. Like,
I mean, what did he?
You can't read the room. On? Yes. Like I said, you could come up with any bullshit. We're working on plenty of ways to combat any problems the platform might have. Boom, done. Vague, doesn't say a damn thing, but it sounds much better than this.
You're not wrong.
I don't care. Or even if you love the word innovating, and so you have to use it, you can say we are creating, or you know what? We have many innovative teams that are combating any negative things that may or may not be happening. I don't care. Anything's better than this.
You're not wrong. Like, anything really is better than this outside of, I mean, there's only one thing that could potentially be worse. And that is being on the pro side of predators.
You're not wrong.
That's like the only thing that could possibly be worse here.
Or maybe with some foreshadowing, maybe you're for predators and gambling. Anyways, before we get there, again, credit to the interviewers not letting up. The other interviewer, Kevin Roose, noted mid-interview, quote, might be the craziest interview we've ever done, end quote. By the end of it, as the CEO appeared frustrated by the safety-focused questions, and he responded with, quote, fun, let's keep going down with this, end quote. So he doubles down, he triples down, and then I'm just going to say he quadruples down by being a sarcastic dick when people are concerned about child predators. Wait, I'm not sure the topic of child predators is a conversation that requires you to be sassy and sarcastic.
Wait, so the interviewer said this to him mid-interview?
So I have not seen this exact clip, but I believe this was said in response to the CEO saying, fun, let's keep going down with this, when they kept pressuring him about the safety focus of Roblox.
Oh, jeez. Wild.
Yeah. Dude, that's insane to me. Like, multiple chances to hit a freeway exit, and he just keeps driving.
Yep.
And as I briefly mentioned, the CEO also proposed adding prediction markets to roadblocks, calling it, quote, a brilliant idea if it can be done in an educational way that's legal, end quote. So,
oh my God.
Concerns about child predators? None. You know what, though? I am going to add something that we have to figure out a way to do legally. You are saying this in your own quote, on a platform focused on children. Great. Your platform is child predators, and in the future, you're going to add gambling. Look, if I am legit, I have already been, but if I talk to anybody new or rehash the Roblox conversation with any of the parents in my life, I'm going to bring up, hey, Roblox doesn't think there's a child predator problem, and they're being sued, and they're trying to figure out a legal way to add prediction markets, aka gambling, to Roblox. Don't let your kids play Roblox. I mean,
yeah, yep,
that's kind of the end all be all of this conversation.
It's freaking insane, dude. And there's so many people who just like they're not even paying attention, right? Nope. They don't even know these things are happening because
many don't.
There's almost too much news nowadays.
Oh, definitely.
And it's none of it's really framed in like a truthful manner. It always comes with some opinion attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating.
Concerning about the person saying it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
But just to keep going down this line because I find it interesting. One of the interviewer sarcastically replied with, "Start them young. That's what I always say. When it comes to gambling, you're never too young." Which I love. Again, all credit to these guys. Like, this is... hey, you stand up and stick by your morals, no matter who's in the room. I super appreciate that.
Agreed.
So, I mean, just to be clear here, they are also adding a potential dating feature, but verifying that users are 21 plus.
Why 21? Like actually, why 21? Why is that the frickin' number?
I don't know, dude. I don't understand any of the decisions this company makes.
like 18, they're an adult. They probably shouldn't be legally, but they're an adult.
I mean, it's probably because they're having concerns about child predators and they don't want to be accused of anything else, so they're just going to go with the legal drinking age.
I mean, the legal drinking age in like one country in the entire world.
So many comments I want to make, but I'm just going to let that pass. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, there's 20 plus federal lawsuits, and he's saying this stuff. The lawyers are getting a lot of good stuff for it. So I don't think there's much more to say about this. This is insane. So anything else to say about Roblox? I just don't understand this dude.
I mean, not really, but like, moderate your children online. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, do it. Like, it was done for me.
I don't think there isn't a single major platform or game out there that doesn't exist with some sort of parental controls.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, except maybe Roblox, but I don't know for certain.
I don't know for certain either because, like, I just refuse to let the child play Roblox. Mm-hmm. I don't even let them watch Roblox. I have it blocked on YouTube.
I mean, yeah, it's probably a good idea considering that they're adding gambling and they've already got a different type of problem that they apparently don't have, according to the CEO.
Yep.
But to your point, yes, be a parent in your kid's life. Like, there is a minimum, and the minimum standard is being a parent. Although some people still heavily fail at that, so.
Well, yeah.
But, all right. Anyways, that's our deep dive into Roblox CEO constantly eating his own foot. It's really weird that he keeps doing that, but he really loves the taste of that shoe. So, anyways, we're going to move on to business and econ. All right, business and econ. We are basically over our heads anytime we get into the business side of stuff, but it's always fun looking at those numbers. So we're going to get into something that I believe is kind of crazy, but as Haru pointed out when we were initially talking, is definitely something that no one is surprised about. Nvidia believes that it is no longer a gaming company and that it is an AI data center infrastructure provider.
Yep. I mean, we absolutely figured that out, Nvidia. Thanks.
Yep. During a quarter 3 2025 earnings call on November 19th, it was basically stated that it's evolved over the past 25 years from a gaming GPU company to an AI data center infrastructure company. CEO Jensen, how do you pronounce his last name? Is it Hung? I always forget how to pronounce his last name. Anyways.
Hong.
Okay. Huang? Anyways.
Huang. Yeah.
Reinforced this position, emphasizing that the company has entered a virtuous cycle of AI with rapid ecosystem scaling across the foundation of modern models, startups, industries, and even nations. Just to give you some number breakdowns of the financial results from those Q3 earnings calls, data center revenue was $51.2 billion which is up 25% from the previous quarter, which is insane, and 66% year over year. The gaming and AI PC revenue, those GeForce RTX cards, was $4.3 billion, which is still up 30% from a year ago, but is 1%, well, basically the same from the previous quarter. But as you can see there, one number is much bigger than the other number.
See, but I want to know how much of that data center revenue comes from money that they invested in other companies, which then purchased the data centers.
I mean, it's a good question. I would point out that a lot of their chips and cards are being purchased for those data centers.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know what that revenue split is, but I would argue it's probably definitely still more regardless than that 4.3 billion.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%, definitely. The problem is how much, my point is really, is how much of that 51 billion is actually just a bubble that's ready to collapse.
It's a good question. There have been quite a few divestments from those large AI companies.
Yep.
But as of right now, the bubble has not burst. So it's still big. And we'll get into it a little later, but it's causing other problems for gamers as well. I think my concern here would be, regardless whether or not you love or hate Nvidia, I would say that no company has done more to advanced gaming technology over the last 20 years than Nvidia.
True.
Just from all the basically advancements that they've had over the years, which we mentioned in a previous course, some of those, which had performance hits throughout the years, but they've done a lot. I mean, I think AMD FreeSync, which came way after G-Sync, and G-Sync being such a great way to get rid of screen tearing, is something that I would much prefer not to live without. Like,
yeah.
I mean, when you look for a monitor, if it doesn't have FreeSync / G-Sync, do you even consider it?
No.
Yeah. I mean, but that's one of NVIDIA's advancements, right?
But at the same time, it's also really hard to find a monitor in the range that we're usually looking that doesn't have FreeSync / G-Sync.
You're not wrong, but I think a lot of, especially with FreeSync being made available, which I'm not saying is NVIDIA, it's clearly AMD's open source version, not open source, but open license version of G-Sync. It just wouldn't necessarily exist without G-Sync. I feel like because of that, you are seeing those on a lot more mid to low range monitors as well.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing. Have they gotten too big for their britches? Absolutely. Are they charging ridiculous amounts for their cards because they can, and in some cases they're the only ones providing a card at that tier? Definitely. Are they arrogant and have had all kinds of stuff come out recently talking about how crappy they are to their board partners? Absolutely. Where was I going with this again? Oh yeah. Anyways, they're just not a great company at the moment, but I am concerned about if they truly kind of stop innovating, who takes over for them in the market.
I mean, haven't they though? In terms of the gaming space, haven't they stopped innovating? All of their innovations are now just pushing towards AI.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think that's recent enough that you can't count it out, because resizable bar is also a pretty big thing that happened recently.
That's fair.
So like I would give it another couple generations and see then.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, looking back on like what you said, what they said, evolved over the past 25 years from gaming GPU to AI. No, it's been like the last 5 years. Like that. That's where the switch started coming in, right?
Yeah, the Switch has come in. Yeah. That's fair. I was like, well, no, they've been innovating for a long time. Yeah, if you're talking about the Switch, yeah.
Yeah. Like 25 years, you didn't start out as a GPU gaming company with the intention of moving into an AI data center role. And even
True.
7 years ago, you probably didn't even think you were ever going to make this much money off of AI. So to say that you've evolved over the past 25 years, I think is just plainly false.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
Yeah, your evolution was within the last 5 years.
Yep. And we'll see what happens. I look, best case scenario, AMD moves into a dominant position. Nvidia has to choose to not give up, a couple billion in revenue, which most companies don't want to give up revenue. Then Nvidia has to turn around and compete. And best case scenario of them all, Intel ends up being heavily competitive.
Yeah, that would be the best
Hopefully.
scenario for sure.
I
But
just like having 3 cards would be much better for the health of the industry.
oh yeah, 100%. The biggest problem that I see is that it doesn't matter how much our GPU companies innovate over and over and over again if developers keep developing games the way that they are.
Yeah.
Like it isn't going to matter. I could run these games off of 5 Blackwell AI GPUs and they're still going to give me 30 FPS.
You're not wrong. But I mean, at least you look at Battlefield and Arc Raiders and hope that that's a sign that change is coming for optimization,
Hopefully.
right?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
for sure. Hopefully.
I mean, hey, we just talked about Battlefield's numbers, 0 ray tracing, great optimization, no reliance on DLSS, and then the other big multiplayer game has DLSS baked in, but definitely, just like Battlefield, does not rely on it in any way. So,
I think I have it turned
and
off,
hopefully companies look at that and go, look how much money they made. Maybe we should invest in our game to make sure it runs and it's attractive to anyone that wants to purchase it. Wow, what a shock.
Not even just that, like, how much cheaper is it to develop the game without those technologies baked in?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Like, I don't know the answer to that either. Like, I don't know if putting DLSS in your game requires, like, a licensing purchase or what. But, like, it is just another cog in the machine that when you're developing, you have to troubleshoot around.
Yep.
Which does not sound fun.
You're not wrong. I think my goal would be, and I know monitors are 144 frames, but I think my goal would be your 1080p game should be getting me 244 hertz. Or, sorry, 248 hertz. Your 1440p game should be getting 120 hertz, 120 FPS. And your 4K should be around 60 frames. Before DLSS. That should be the minimum.
Well,
now I know there's a lot of different architecture and cards, so I'm going to say that should be the minimum for the mid to high tier cards of the last generation.
not the latest generation, the last generation.
Yep. The previous one previous generation.
So you're basically talking the 4070 series.
Yeah, like a 4070 Ti, let's say right in the middle.
Fair enough.
Yep. That should be the minimum. And then from there, if I want more frames, then I can enable DLSS.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I hope somebody, if Nvidia truly stops innovating and doesn't give a crap about the market and starts or continues to charge exorbitant fees for their cards, that AMD becomes a bit more competitive and Intel gets what used to be AMD shares. If AMD becomes more competitive. Oh, we can dream, can't we? All right. On to a topic that I've been saving weeks on weeks. just because we've never had the time to get to it. So this was kind of like, I don't know, September, October. But Intel and Nvidia made a surprise announcement that they are partnering on an x86 RTX chip / AI partnership. So it's a financial investment. Nvidia is making an investment of $5 billion into Intel purchasing common stock. And it is still will need to be approved. I don't know if it's happened since then. I haven't checked back in, but I don't see why it wouldn't be. The partnership covers a couple major things. One, AI infrastructure, as we've just been talking about. The companies will collaborate on a custom data center and AI infrastructure platforms, and with Intel making custom chips that Nvidia will use. Also, their PC products are going to get x86 RTX system on chips that integrate Nvidia RTX graphics chiplets directly onto the Intel CPU, which I do think is an interesting development, because I don't think anyone notoriously or anyone has previously been holding high Intel's integrated graphics at any point in time.
No, definitely not.
So if they can create something that can at least do lower end or indie games well, maybe even like a Rocket League, that would be quite interesting, and I'd definitely be for that.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're wondering, other than just the investment, why this would happen and why Nvidia would be interested in this, maybe we'll get into it on like a gaming history segment at some point, but the long and short of it is x86 manufacturing rights are controlled by only a few companies because there are too many crisscrossing patents. So basically anyone that exists currently with a license to create x86 chips can continue to do so. However, I'm not sure it's feasible that anyone will be able to get a license to do anything new. So that's one of the reasons that this is attractive to Nvidia, is because of this partnership. They can basically get in on the x86 chip market.
First off, it's dumb that like this entire modern chip structure is locked behind a bunch of freaking complex crisscrossing patents and licensing agreements that no one can compete. That seems really dumb, in my opinion.
100% it is. It's also one of the reasons why ARM processors have taken off so much.
Yeah, because they're like, screw this. We can't do anything with x86. We'll just create our own.
Yep, that's pretty much what's happened. Yep.
Yeah, it's dumb. And on top of that, this is exactly what I was referring to in the last subsection, where Nvidia invests $5 billion into Intel, and then Intel then pays them however much to build an AI infrastructure, and then they count that as revenue.
You're not wrong.
And that's what the bubble is made out of, people. Nvidia, they had a little lump sum. They passed that lump sum off to this person. They sent it back by purchasing a bunch of their chips, and then they just kept passing around the same dollars.
Well, you've seen the old joke about banks, right?
Oh yeah.
The one with like, if everybody owes, so if you take 3 people and each person owes, so person A owes person B owes person C, and person C owes person A $10. If person A pays B can take that same $10 and pay C. C can take that same $10 and pay A. So A's paid off his debt and ends up with $10.
Yeah, so A has lost nothing.
And technically everybody else, even though they don't have $10 in their hands, has technically made $10, even though it went to pay off debt.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't profit, but it was still considered revenue.
Yep.
And I think that's a big key difference that I don't think a lot of people realize when it comes to, discussions about business and economics. Revenue is just the amount of money that comes in. It doesn't
It's basically your transactional money.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't care about any of the outgoing money.
Nope. And that's your profit is the money that you get to take home at the end of the day minus your debts owed.
Correct.
So, yep. But I mean, it's exactly what you said. So, just a little bit more information. Though that chiplet on the new SoCs is going to be connected by NVLink interfaces, which is a high speed, high bandwidth NVIDIA proprietary interface. So Intel is getting something out of this deal other than money as well. I will find it interesting. I hope it does well. It'll be interesting if this somehow influences Intel's struggling, I guess is the best way to describe it, GPU lineup. Because I don't know if there's anything in the partnership that deals with any of that, or if they're allowed to use any of this tech in their GPUs, but it would be very interesting if that ends up being a thing. I don't know what Intel's going to look like in the long run, because this is just another investment on top of the U.S. government securing a 10% stake in Intel.
Yep.
Which, the reason this is happening is because Intel's been struggling to compete, as they were on like a 14 nanometer and 10 nanometer process for forever because they stopped innovating. We'll see what happens. I hope this is beneficial to consumers, because I know most likely it's going to be beneficial to the company first. Hopefully some of that trickles down to us peons at the bottom.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get too far into it, but I'm just going to leave y'all with a question. Where did the U.S. government find this money to invest if they owe $3 trillion? Is that higher now? Is it $5 trillion?
The U.S. government?
Anymore. Yeah.
$39 trillion.
Oh, I was way off.
I think that was literally like an announcement 2 days ago that they hit 39 trillion in debt.
Wow. Yeah. So where did they get the money to invest 10% into Intel?
Oh man, I mean, we could go through all kinds of stuff, from the people,
we're not going
printing, other country investments. That's a deep rabbit hole. Anyways, speaking of ridiculous amounts of money and where it comes from, if you want to be the cool kid on social media nowadays, don't flash those stacks of Benjamins. Instead, get a stack of RAM sticks and fan that out, because that's the thing that is now very, very expensive and worth a lot of money. As DDR5 memory prices have reached insane levels, with a 64 gig kit of G-Skill Trident Z5 Neo, which is just, in general, a very popular gaming RAM kit. Now, keep in mind, 64 gigs is going to be your top end for a general personal PC. $600 for 64 gigs.
Insane.
And keep in mind, PS5s, as of Black Friday, are on sale for $400.
Yep.
So $200 more than a PS5
for
64 gigs of RAM.
Half of a, not even half, like a sixth of an actual computer.
Yeah, I would say sixth is being generous. Yes.
Yes. Like, geez, it's so ridiculous. I have friends of mine right now who are trying to, prep for building a new PC, and they're like, I really want to do 64 gigabytes of RAM, but I don't want to spend $600.
Oh my goodness, dude. I had to help a coworker, which shout out to Tiger, who helped me find my coworker a good deal. He's buying his kid, and his kid is a young teenager, his first gaming PC. And so this was a whole rabbit hole that we had to go down, because it's like, okay, if you're having to piecemeal out your RAM parts, is it really worth it at the moment for that kit? Or do you look at a pre-built? And we actually ended up going with a pre-built that was 16 gigs of RAM, I don't remember the processor off the top of my head, but it's essentially kind of a entry mid-range-ish AMD processor and a 5070 and 1 terabyte of storage, because that's what was in his budget, right? Like he's a parent, so he's got to stay in his budget, and it was like the trade-off, right? You get the 32 gigs of RAM and the 5060. So we ended up going with that 16 gigs and the 5070 because it was like, hey, this computer right now will play everything perfectly fine. No worries. It'll do that for a long time in the future. Just in a couple of years, your kid can buy his own extra stick of RAM and put it in there.
Yeah. Well, and especially because as long as the RAM that comes inside of that PC isn't some like off-brand whatever that you'll never be able to find.
It's an iBuyPower, so it should be some regular off-the-shelf RAM.
One can definitely hope.
Yeah, I say should be, not is, but should be. It's not like it's a Dell computer. So
yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I think that's ridiculous. That is the concern. Do I get the nicer GPU or the extra RAM? Because the cost difference between a 5060 and 16 gigs of RAM difference is the fucking same as a 5070 to a 5060.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. Anyone looking for the numbers, that's 100%. That's 190% increase since September.
Yeah, not even just last year. September.
Yep, September.
Idiot.
You're looking at 6,000 megahertz DDR5 sticks going from $95 in mid-August to $184.
My first gaming PC was an iBuyPower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. There's always going to be overhead in a pre-build. That's
for
fine.
sure.
We're on Black Friday, though, and you can find quite a few sales where basically that labor cost gets wiped out and you're still saving money on the components and you have a fully built PC.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone... Look, I think PC gamers are sometimes snobs. And sometimes
100%.
Too big of a snob.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone who wants to buy pre-built because they want the PC gaming experience but are either worried about building a PC, they've never done one. Yes, there's plenty of videos out there, but you know what? Sometimes that's just a lot of stress, and there's a good sale. Just buy the computer on sale. If there's a good deal and you're worried about it, nothing wrong. Go get that pre-built, load up your games, have some fucking fun. Don't worry about the haters.
Yeah, don't worry about it for sure, but double check the power supply.
Yeah. Honestly, this dad was smart enough. He did his own research and he's like, should I be concerned about this? And I'm like, from this company now, to be clear here, I'm talking about
now.
Today,
not
now.
15 years ago.
You shouldn't have to be worried. But yeah, definitely when you get the computer, you can just quickly check the model, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Most likely what you're going to get is a lower efficiency, but probably standard power supply.
Oh, yeah. Almost guaranteed.
But anyways, yeah. So RAM prices are insane. Everything's gone up a lot. I could give you more numbers, but I think kind of everyone gets the point. I think what we should talk about is what we alluded to earlier. Why? Why is there suddenly a memory shortage? Oh, well, full circle. It's AI. Shock. We've already mentioned it. It's AI. All the memory chips, especially from a lot of the major manufacturers, are being contractually consumed by your HBM. That's the high bandwidth memory for AI clusters. So that's where it's all going. That's why the prices are insane. It's I mean, this is anyone who doesn't understand economics, this is a perfect example of supply and demand. Other people with more money are buying up all the supply. You still have a demand. Guess what? If you want the thing, you pay more money.
Well, and
There's
the
less
worst
supply
part,
for you.
the worst part is like this isn't even artificial demand, like diamonds, for example.
True.
It's I mean, it is technically artificial, but it's artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
But it is. It's super dumb. It's super, super dumb that a company is a manufacturer specifically is even allowed to just like cut off their entire supply and like just sell up all of their all of their supply via contracts instead of retailing it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're
it's
not
dumb.
wrong. I mean, because literally the wafer fabrications in all of these production plants, they're going to the AI accelerated HBM memory, and so
Yeah.
they're like you're just literally producing less of the general memory for the populace.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of idiotic. It's the equivalent of someone buying up all the rubber. So now tires are the price of the vehicle.
Yep. You're not wrong. I mean, it's 100% there. $600 is between a 5060 Ti and a 5070.
Yeah, I know.
That's what you're looking at there. And we already mentioned it last week. With how insane these prices are, GPU companies are already looking at discontinuing the low-end GPUs. We've already mentioned that. And it's not going to get better. No. A lot of the manufacturers are claiming to have less than 8 weeks of stock on hand, with most of their production runs fully sold out for 2026.
That's insane.
Yeah. You better like your computer
really
now, because you ain't upgrading for a while unless you want to give your left nut for a piece of RAM.
Yeah, for real though. I don't even think your left nut goes for that much anymore. There's plenty of supply there, not much demand.
Oh, man. Burn. All right. You're not wrong.
But yeah, it really won't get better. So, and take this with a grain of salt. I'm not an economic specialist. But if you're trying to build a new PC, if you're trying to upgrade your RAM, I know that the $300 to $600 hit is gonna suck, but it's a lot better than the $1,000 it'll probably be next year.
Yep. And we just talked about it. Pre-builts with crazy sales are pretty good, so you could always get a pre-built and upgrade different things in it if you wanted to. Not ideal, but you could get something that has most of the parts you want and then upgrade the rest. And obviously turn around and sell the parts you don't want. But
it's funny that you mentioned that, because some of the ones that you had sent me last night, I started like doing the math on it. And I was like, if you took this and you sold it for like 90% of retail, and then you took this and sold it for 90% of retail, you'd probably either break even or make money.
Yeah.
Which is
100%.
Wild.
There are some pre-builds that are crazy.
The pre-builds, especially during these like major sale months, so Black Friday, 4th of July sale, things like those, they tend to be very good value.
Yeah. 100%.
With very little manual labor needed.
Oh, yeah. And like we said, usually the sale price is lower than the labor cost that was built into the price, which means that you're basically getting, if it's like 35% off, you're essentially getting 20% off all the components, right?
Yeah.
So they're definitely good buys. And for anyone that doesn't necessarily want to build a computer, you have a fully working computer by the end of it. So
True.
Yeah, so a couple routes to go for. Just don't plan on buying any RAM in 2026, because as of right now, it looks to be a desert with a very, very thirsty man in it. So,
and it's it's going to take a while to recover too. Even if like the AI bubble does pop in 2026, like some people are predicting, it's going to take like a year before those prices come down because all of those companies need to refit their production lines back to the original stuff.
Well, the ideal for consumers, right, would be that they ramp up production and then a bit after they're have this higher end production, then the AI bubble bursts. So then the market's flooded with cheap memory.
True. It's an option too.
I mean, it's not a guaranteed one by any means, but considering we're not going to get out of this shortage, I think the best case scenario would be at the end of the shortage, we get a robust amount of very cheap RAM.
Yeah.
And then everybody who has been putting off buying can all buy very cheap RAM. But just keep an eye out for that. I don't think there's anything more to say about this. AI is affecting everything. Good, bad. It's in everything nowadays. So be ready for the future. With that comment, we'll get into independent study. All right. Independent study. Haru, I believe there's a game that you've been wanting to talk about.
Oh man. So I'm pretty big into like ARPGs, Diablo, Hades 1, any of those, right? They're like roguelike ARPGs. I know Diablo's not necessarily roguelike, but
Hades 1 or Hades 2?
Seasonals. Hades 1 specifically.
Oh, okay.
I do own Hades 2. I played it a little bit. I wasn't really a fan of the new mechanic that they added. So like there was always the ability to dash in Hades 1. But if you dash and then hold that button, you just start sprinting. And that's not nearly as fun mid-combat.
Oh, because it accidentally sprints?
Yes. So often. It drives me insane.
I mean, is it a toggle? It'd be nice if it was a toggle. Like, you could choose to have that enabled or disabled.
I would have to double check. I doubt it.
I mean, that's fair.
But regardless, something that I picked up in my desire to fill that void in my spare time outside of WoW was a game called Shape of Dreams. And this game released September 10th, and it very quickly hit top 10 on the Steam's top sellers list right after Silksong, which is surprising. Now, granted, Silksong and roguelike are not, the same, but it came out a day before Borderlands 4, and surprisingly, it managed to squeeze in 2 days before the developers of Hades 2 announced their 1.0 release date.
Huh.
So it was kind of like in that perfect, like, sweet spot.
I like the artwork.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's gorgeous. So it really did slip in just barely and got enough exposure to grow via word of mouth and by people who just stare at the top sellers list and buy everything on it. And the game starts you out with only one character, and then you quickly unlock a couple of others. But the first character that you play is like a reptile hunter. It's kind of cool. And I did really enjoy it, though unlike Hades 1, and maybe I'm just better nowadays than I was at roguelikes back in the day, I beat the game in about 5 tries. It's like, beat the final boss in about 5 tries on that character, which is really not a lot. Especially when you consider the fact with like Hades 1, I think it took me like 30.
Okay.
Another thing to mention about Shape of Dreams, it is co-op. And I have played it co-op, and it's interesting. There are support characters. There's like healer type characters that you can play, and they can absolutely stand their own ground. But unfortunately, the co-op runs into this weird problem where if you as the player, like as one of the players, know what you're doing and other players don't necessarily know what they're doing and are playing with you, eventually it just ends up being they die and you're stuck fighting something that has 3 times the amount of health as it would normally in solo. Which was my experience, unfortunately.
You're putting it on hard mode.
Yeah, extremely hard mode. And I was playing a support character of all things.
Oh, that means you just got to support harder.
Yeah. So one of the characters that I've absolutely fallen in love with is this like druid style summoner type character who just summons a bunch of like forest wolves. And they don't look anything like wolves, to be clear. But they are adorable. And you just summon a bunch of them. And I think you can have up to 5. And then you just, like, all of your other abilities, like your roguelike style abilities, you just get buffs for them. Because every time you buff them, when they attack, they deal a massive amount of damage. But it's only after they've received a buff from you. So it's a really unique gameplay style where you just kind of stand in the background and let your minions do all the work. But you're constantly buffing those minions and you're watching their auto attacks. As they attack, then you rebuff them, and then they attack and you rebuff them, and then they attack and you rebuff them. And it just becomes this little gameplay loop. But there is a really, really terrible problem with that particular character, and that's the fact that the minions aren't exactly controllable in like a robust way. So you can't just be like, hey, all of you go here and dodge that mechanic instead of dying.
Don't die, just move out of the way.
Yeah, so you have to like time one of your abilities, which also is a buff, but it also commands them to go to a place, but it has a cooldown, right? So you can't be all like, go left, okay, 1 second later, go right. It's more like 5 seconds, right? That's when you can make the decision. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they take like reduced damage from unavoidable AoE attacks, which is kind of unfortunate. But I also think it would be really broken. Because
I mean, sometimes when things are broken, they're fun though.
That's true. That's true. And in any roguelike, ultimately the goal is to become broken, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But like you can get the summons down to like 2 seconds, like a 2 second cooldown to resummon or to summon over and over again. And you can get it up to like 5 charges. So you just like cast it 5 times, and then as your minions die, you just summon new ones and new ones and new ones and new ones. And hope to God that you don't run out, like I've done numerous times on the final boss, and then it drives me up a wall.
Yeah, I could see how that would be annoying.
Yeah, but it was fun. If you're a fan of roguelikes and you're looking for something to scratch that itch, and you've already beat Hades 2, or Hades 2 just isn't really doing it for you the same way it was for me, try Shape of Dreams. It's worth it. It's a very, very solid game from a company I've never frickin' heard of.
I mean, that's fair. I think it's a good recommendation. Unfortunately, it's not on sale right now, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a recommendation from Haru. Just maybe put that on your wish list, and hopefully it eventually goes on sale. You can pick up something good. On to a game that we've both played, but Jump Space, if anybody has not heard of it, back on September 18th, which is basically a roguelite type game. with some kind of first-person small space exploration. So
Yeah.
basically, it's first person. You have a ship that you either share with a AI robot that will do everything if you're by yourself, and will do some things if you have a partner, and is non-existent if you have 3 or more people. And the ship can be damaged. You have to reload ammo on the ship. You do fly around in 3D space or atmosphere, I guess is how I want to describe it, like over the surface of the planet. But you're always driving the spaceship, and it moves in kind of a standard flight pattern with some 3D movement. And you get out, drop down, go onto the planet. You've got a tool for doing things that also doubles as a pistol. And then you can pick up all manner of other pieces of equipment, from explosives to guns to just random things that you can use or throw, rocket launchers or rail guns, all kinds of fun stuff. And you go from one side of the exploration tree to the other before you finish, and come back out and repeat. If you die at any point, you go back to your base.
Yeah. It honestly has been very enjoyable, and we really do need to play it again.
Yeah, one of the things that we can quickly get into is, at the time we played, they did not, they clearly were on the map, but there's a currency that you can bring out every time you survive, and there are vendors, and they did actually do the vendor update, so you can actually now buy things before you go on a mission from vendors.
Oh, perfect. One question I have, I don't know if you've played it more recently than I, it sounds like you have. Have they fixed the fact that you don't get to progress if you're not the host?
I do see a lot of bug fixes. I'd have to go through them specifically, as I haven't really played with somebody else, so
Fair.
I don't know for certain.
I volunteer as tribute.
But okay, perfect. Well, we'll get back into it. It is a fun game, but it is early access. If I don't believe we mentioned that, so it's not like this is a full release title. They basically had their 1.0 release, and since then, and that was late October. And since then, they've been doing small bug fixes. And I do see that we actually missed a Halloween event, which I always appreciate when developers do fun and interesting time-specific things that kind of let people who are enjoying the game be in the moment. But as long as they're consistently fixing things, I think that's all I really require. Because
Agreed.
if you let your early access game die, that's where I have a problem. And if you never come out of early access, that's when I have a problem. So as long as there's a timeline and you're actively contributing to it, I don't have a problem. It is $19, but it's a fun game. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. You can get off the ship in space while you're fighting other ships and actually grapple to those enemy ships and damage them.
Yep. I remember you doing that a couple of times.
Yeah. And the game does give you some freedom. So even though you're supposed to park and land and then do something on the surface, you can kind of cheese the system, and someone can stay in the ship and basically act as like an AC-130 and just rain down hellfire from the ship while your teammates are on the ground. But you can damage your teammates, so you have to be careful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's nice that you can do that. It feels really broken.
I don't know what you're talking about. It felt very rewarding for me.
Okay, buddy. But like, and unfortunately, the AI isn't smart enough to take cover, right? So it's kind of one of those things where you're like, the AI is so stupid that I can literally just sit in my ship and just shoot at them.
And we kind of skipped over it. It does have an interesting setting story where it's kind of apocalyptic robot, like Horizon, almost kind of in space, where robots have taken over in general space and most planets and are hunting down humans. And so you're trying to survive with other humans and gather resources, that type of thing. So the other AI is robots.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's not the most intelligent. I do think a lot of the on-foot battles, or even in the space battles, they do go with more numbers over substance. I do appreciate that most of the enemies aren't heavy bullet sponges, and
Agreed.
instead they throw a variety of enemies at you to overwhelm you for the difficulty, which I am fine with. But I do agree that at some point, if there could be some kind of AI intelligence update, it would be good. And maybe this is where like AI learning for a small indie studio could come in handy. But
Yep.
that's neither here nor there. I do think it's still in a good spot as long as they continue to update with content and bug fixes. Any other comments?
And if you guys are worried about the fact that it's built on Unity, because that Unity vulnerability was out recently, they have already patched that, so don't worry about that.
That's good.
So
I'm glad you checked.
It's definitely very interesting. I do have to say I very much enjoy the ship movement. It's clearly very arcadey. But it really, really works for that style of game.
Yep. And there are two different ships, a bigger, bulkier one and a smaller, nimbler one.
Yeah. And like it's one of those things where if you gave it something like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen level of like ship movement, people would just be overwhelmed and it would be boring.
True. Especially because I would assume that difficulty then applies to the rest of the ship and trying to fix things.
Exactly.
Yeah. That might be obnoxious. I just want to be able to eat my pizza and replenish my health, okay? My space pizza.
The pizza is such a good touch.
I do apologize. The pizza is a great touch. I do apologize, but we did forget to mention that there are artifacts that you can pick up and install on your ship that actually do modify the game, where like shooting your teammate heals them, which is OP, but it's awesome. And things like if you melee something, you do more damage for a while. If your shields take damage, a little bit of that damage is reflected back. So there are unique things that you pick up during each run that actually affect how that run plays a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's kind of the roguelike elements that he was referring to before. And like it can be extremely broken stuff, so much so that like you can take your infinite ammo pistol and just shoot your allies and heal them.
Through quite a lot.
Actually really cool.
Yep. And if you build a macro, you won't hit any shots and you fire super fast.
Oh, man. Kill me.
Macros, not even once, kids.
Not even once. No, but it is really funny when we're playing and, like, Plague just screams, "Shoot me!"
I need healing! Shoot me in the face!
Okay, Genji.
I was thinking more like Ana.
Well, yeah, but Genji's the one who says I need healing all the time.
Oh, that's true. Oh, man. I need healing. Yeah, you're not wrong. All right. Well, Jump Space is good. It's fun. It's also not on sale. So put that on your wish list. Pick it up at some point. If you're looking for a fun co-op game with friends, it is a great choice for a co-op game. I'm sure most people won't be disappointed. Anyone out there, if they have any recommendations for maybe an indie game or something affordable that you'd like us to play, feel free to drop that in a comment or an email and feedback@thegameprofessors.com. And we'll take a look at it, and maybe at some point we'll play it and chat about it. I think that's all I have. Haru, any last comments?
Nope, I'm good as well.
All right, people, close those books, pack those bags, and get ready for some turkey time. And if you're, in mine or Haru's case, probably a good pie and some sweet potatoes. Otherwise, we hope you enjoy your time off and look forward to your participation next time. Peace.
See ya.